Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into one of the most intense and strategically important jet rivalries shaping the future of modern warfare. The F-35l Adir of Israel and the Su-57 Felon of Russia are two fifth-generation fighters built with different philosophies, different combat roles, and different national doctrines, yet both claim to dominate the sky. This comparison is not about surface-level features, but about how each aircraft performs in real missions, real radar environments, and real air combat scenarios where technology, doctrine, and survivability decide everything. The F-35L and the Su-57 represent two competing directions in military aviation, and understanding their strengths tells us where the future of air combat is heading. The F-35l Adir begins with stealth as its foundation. Its design is built around low observability, battlefield awareness, and electronic dominance. The Adir is not just a fighter jet, it is part of a digital warfare ecosystem where every sensor, every communication system, and every onboard processor works as part of a larger network. This allows the F-35L to detect threats at long range, avoid detection itself, and attack with precision before the enemy even realizes what is happening. Israel has invested heavily in customizing the Adir, integrating its own electronic warfare systems, its own encrypted software, and its own weapon packages to surpass the standard American versions. This gives Israel's F-35L a unique strategic advantage that no other air force in the world can replicate. The Su-57 Felon, on the other hand, is built for aggression. It is not the quiet, undetectable hunter that the F-35L tries to be. Instead, it focuses on speed, maneuverability, and visible intimidation. With thrust, vectoring engines, super-maneuverability, and high-speed capabilities, the Su-57 aims to overwhelm the enemy through physical performance. Russia's philosophy has always emphasized dogfighting, missile power, and raw aerodynamic strength. The Su-57 follows that tradition, offering a platform capable of extreme angles of attack, rapid directional changes, and high-energy engagements that traditional aircraft cannot match. But the modern battlefield does not reward physical performance alone. The first question any expert asks is, who sees the enemy first? In modern warfare, the first to detect is almost always the first to win. The F-35L excels here, using its advanced ESA radar, infrared tracking systems, and multi-sensor fusion that integrates data from satellites, drones, and ground systems. Even if the Su-57 has a powerful radar, it simply cannot match the F-35L's ability to remain hidden. In most realistic scenarios, the F-35L will detect the Su-57 long before being detected in return. This alone gives the Adir a massive tactical edge. Electronic warfare continues this advantage. Israel is known globally for its mastery of electronic warfare technology, and the Adir includes some of the most sophisticated countermeasures and jamming systems ever installed in a fighter aircraft. These systems allow the F-35L to interfere with enemy radar, disrupt enemy missiles, and blind enemy sensors. The Su-57 does have electronic countermeasures, but they are nowhere near the digital architecture and real-time processing capability of the Adir systems. In a true electronic battlefield, the F-35L is fighting with newer, smarter technology that gives it control over the invisible spectrum where modern wars are fought. When analyzing weapons, both jets carry powerful missiles designed for beyond visual range combat. But the F-35L's advantage comes from the fact that it can fire those missiles without revealing its position. The AIM-120 AMRAAM, combined with the Adir's stealth, allows for silent, long-range engagements. Meanwhile, the Su-57 has advanced missiles such as the R-77M and R-37M, which are extremely lethal. But these missiles require the Su-57 to get close enough to detect its target in the first place, and that may never happen if the F-35L strikes first from outside detection range. Inside visual range, the story changes slightly. The Su-57 super-maneuverability and thrust vectoring engines give it an advantage in a close quarters dogfight. If the Su-57 manages to get very close, it becomes incredibly dangerous. The aircraft can perform extreme turns, sudden flips, and high-G maneuvers that the F-35L cannot match physically, but modern combat rarely allows dogfights unless both sides lose situational awareness. In most real missions, the engagement will already be decided long before dogfighting becomes possible. This is why air forces around the world prioritize stealth and radar first, maneuverability second. Survivability is another critical factor. The F-35L relies on stealth to survive by avoiding enemy detection and missile lock. The Su-57 relies on speed, agility, and countermeasures to dodge enemy missiles. Both strategies work under the right circumstances, but stealth remains the more reliable approach in long-range modern warfare. The Su-57's radar cross-section is reduced compared to older jets, but it is not anywhere near true fifth-generation stealth levels. In any confrontation against a pure stealth platform, the Su-57 is fighting at a detection disadvantage. When examining real-world usage, the F-35L has been tested in combat repeatedly. Israel has used the Adir in numerous operations, proving its stealth, precision, and information gathering capabilities in real missions, not simulations. This combat validation gives the F-35L credibility that the Su-57 does not yet have. Russia has deployed the Su-57 in limited numbers and limited missions, but it has not been tested in intense air-to-air conflicts that reveal its full capability. Combat experience matters because it shows how the aircraft responds to real pressure, real surprises, and real enemy systems. Production and reliability also influence dominance. The F-35 program produces hundreds of jets with a massive support network, continuous upgrades, and global partnerships. Israel receives consistent software updates, new electronic warfare packages, and improved weapons. The Su-57, however, faces slow production, limited numbers, and challenges in engine development. Only a small number are operational today, and this restricts Russia's ability to use the aircraft on a large scale. Air dominance is not just about one aircraft's performance. It is about how many can be deployed, how reliably, and how quickly they can be supported in war. Network-centric warfare is another area where the F-35L dominates completely. The Adir is built to operate as part of a massive digital battlefield. It shares data with other F-35s, ground stations, drones, satellites, and ships. Every piece of information helps create a god's-eye view of the battlefield. The Su-57 does not have an equivalent network capability. It can share data, but not at the same speed, not with the same security, and not with the same level of fusion across multiple sources. In modern war, information is the most valuable weapon, and the F-35L carries that weapon better than any other jet in the world. Stealth missions, deep penetration strikes, and long-range detection are all areas where the F-35L holds a clear advantage. The Su-57 instead excels in roles that require brute force, heavy weapon loads, and close-range engagements. Both are powerful fighters, but only one is built around the needs of future digital warfare. The battlefield of 2025 and beyond is defined by drones, AI, electronic interference, cyber warfare, and long-range precision, not close-range dogfights. The Adir's design aligns perfectly with these new realities. In a one-on-one hypothetical scenario, the outcome depends heavily on who detects whom first. All available analysis indicates that the F-35L will detect the Su-57 first in almost every realistic situation. That advantage alone shifts the balance dramatically. Once the F-35L detects the Su-57, it can launch missiles from beyond visual range while remaining almost invisible on radar. Even if the Su-57 deploys countermeasures, the engagement becomes an uphill battle because the Felon will be reacting instead of initiating, In modern combat, reacting means losing. But even beyond one fights, air supremacy requires a jet to dominate not just a single engagement, but entire regions of airspace. The F-35L can serve as an invisible airborne command center for Allied aircraft, guiding missiles, directing drones, and providing detailed radar maps of the battlefield. The Su-57 cannot replicate this capability at the same scale. This makes the Adir more valuable not just as a fighter, but as a force multiplier that increases the power of every aircraft around it. Overall, the F-35l Adir and the Su-57 Felon represent two different futures of warfare. One relies on stealth, data, and digital dominance. The other relies on speed, maneuverability, and raw physical strength. Both are technologically advanced, but only one aligns with where future combat is actually heading. The F-35L's integration of stealth, sensors, electronic warfare, and network capability makes it the more likely winner in most realistic scenarios. The Su-57 is dangerous, aggressive, and highly maneuverable, but in a world where information and stealth decide everything, those strengths may not be enough. The rivalry between these two jets will continue to evolve as upgrades, new systems, and technological changes shape the future. But today, with the capabilities we know and the missions we have analyzed, the balance of power leans toward the aircraft that fights without being seen, communicates without being intercepted, and strikes without giving the enemy time to react. The F-35l Adir holds that advantage, and for now, it remains the aircraft that defines the future of air combat.